Hey everyone, this is a video tutorial for how to make the caged cube. So let's see, the first thing you're going to need are these, which are 2 halves of an octahedral frame. And I've done a tutorial video for these, so I will put a link and you can go and see how to build them. And this whole shape, by the way, uses 2,435 magnets. And if you've only got a few more than that, then you're going to want to build these shapes first so you can get the scaffolding back out. And then the second thing you need is most of a diagonal cube. And again, I have a tutorial video for this, and I will post a link. And I should reiterate that this blue line is kind of a magnetic equator of the thing. This triangular face and this triangular face are the poles of the shape. It has a net polarization this way. And so you need one of those too. And then you also need 3 of these, which are just little tiny cube octahedra. And the blue band in this serves the same purpose as for the diagonal cube. It shows you which way they're polarized. And I already have 2 of those built, and so I'll show you how to do the third one. You just take a small hexagon of magnets that's 3 magnets long on the edge, and then you take a little triangle that's 3 by 2, and you set it down on top, and you mesh it down to where it goes down like that. And then you take another small triangle of 3 by 2 and do the same thing to the other side, except you don't want to attach the 2 where there's 2 here. You want to rotate it and do it where there's 3 on the other end. So then it will snap together like this. Then you have 2 rings of 6, and you want to pinch them into triangles. And then you just set those triangles down on top of these. Just like that. And that is how you build these little tiny cube octahedrons. And you need 3 of them. And I'm just checking here to make sure that they're all the same polarity. If they are, then the equators will not mesh together. And you can do the same check on the side of the diagonal cube and on the side of these to make sure they're all the same polarity. But for now, we can set these aside, set the diagonal cube aside, and set 1/2, and we're just going to work with 1/2 of the cube octahedron. Now, what you need to do, or not 1/2 of the octahedron frame, I'm sorry. Now what you need to do, and this is kind of weird, if you look down into the underside of the corner, you'll see that there's kind of a T shape, kind of like a plus sign. And what you want to do is take magnets and put them down into the grooves in the plus sign. And there's 9 little divots where you can put single magnets. You want to be careful, keep a good grip on them because there's a strong magnetic field in here. And just kind of put them down. You can see that it's kind of just popping out like that. And I'll go ahead and do a complete one corner real quick. And you can see that it'll look like that right in here. And from the side you can kind of see how that's raised up off the corner a little bit. And then you want to do the same thing again on top of the new divots. And this time it's going to take 12 magnets. So go ahead and do that. and sometimes they don't want to go and you have to mess around with them a little bit to get them to work, but ultimately you end up with that. And you can see it's kind of raised 2 layers off of the side, and that is what it looks like. And you need to do that to all 3 corners on just 1/2 of the octahedron frame. And I'm doing this on the slightly taller half that is equilateral with 10 magnets on all sides. I just think it's a little bit easier to work in the bigger half when you're doing this. So, I mean, but you can do it in this half too, but it's probably easier to work in this one. So, anyways, you just do the other 3 corners. Okay, and sometimes they really don't want to go, but eventually you can get them to go. So that is all 3 corners. Now my camera battery is dying, so I'm going to quit and come back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Anyway, now that you've completed putting the magnets down in here, what you need to do is attach supports to the cube the way it's going to go in. Now, polarity is super important here, because if you don't get it right, it won't work. So what you need to do is first make sure that you have all of these 3 little cube octahedrons sitting on the table so that they're the same polarity as the half of the octahedron that has these corners filled in. And the way that the polarity works with these is if you just flip it upside down, that actually reverses the polarity and it'll mesh in. So if you are trying it and it's wrong, turn it upside down, and then it will not mesh. Whoa. That was almost bad. Anyway, so you make sure that they are all the same, and you make sure that they're all the same, that the caged cube is also the same, because you need it to be the same polarity as the half of the octahedron with this stuff filled in, because that's the way it's going to sit in here. So now that you know that these are all the same, you're actually going to go ahead and turn this one upside down so it's the opposite polarity. And you're going to attach these on now. And without flipping these upside down, these need to stay right side up like this. You're going to take the underside, the square face on the underside, and stick that square face right in the middle of the square face of this cube. And since they're currently opposite polarities, it'll attach correctly. And the middle of this, remember, needs to go right down into the middle of that. So it'll go just like that. And once you've done that, you can take 4 single magnets and put them down in the corners here. Just like that. And I don't think these are really necessary in terms of being strong, but they do, I think, make it look a little bit nicer. And so those 4 just go in the 4 little spots there, so it looks more cubic where it attaches to the cube. And then you go ahead and do the same thing to the other two faces of the diagonal cube that are on this half. Okay, and now you have this, basically. And at this point, you can go ahead and complete the underside of the cube if you want, because it'll be hard to reach later on. So just take a little triangle of 3 magnets and attach it on like that. That'll finish the cube on this corner, because that one will be hard to get to later. So, now you have this, and the next thing that you need to do is take a chain and remove the scaffolding from this half, and only on the parts with the corner pieces though. Not on the larger open edges, just on the small edges, and remove the supports. Okay, and now that you have those supports removed, you take this and you're going to set it down in there. And it's kind of hard to show, but what you want is for this kind of square face and then these 3 faces, you want them to mesh in with these squares that you built. So go ahead and carefully set it down in there and be very careful with it. Okay, and it's basically in. I didn't get it quite perfect on one of the corners, but I don't want to have to do this whole video over again, so it's good enough for showing you how to do it. Now anyways, at this point, you want to take the other half of the octahedron frame, and you can go ahead and add it down over the assembly here, and it'll just mesh in like that and come down on top. And now you can take a chain and go through and remove the rest of the supports. Okay, and so that is most of it. The rest is just decorative. And by that I mean that there are 2 things you need to do to make it look like the caged cube in the video. And that is that where these struts attach to the cube, there's a spot where a single magnet should go. And that's true on all 4 sides of each strut. So that's 12 little single magnets in total that you can just take and put down right in here, if I can get it to go. Right in there, just like that. that one right there, the tip of my finger. And go ahead and, if you want to, add that to all the other spots where it needs to be. Okay, so now those all are on. And I'm not sure if they affect the strength of the struts at all, but I mean, it can't hurt. So anyway, the last thing that you need to do is take more small little triangles, and now you can finish off the rest of the cube. And that is how you build the caged cube. That is all there is to it, I guess. And it's not the most technically challenging shape ever, but it really is annoying because you have to deal with all the single magnets and chains while there's really strong magnetic fields from the octahedron in the cube. But there you go. And I guess I will smash it.